It is the 20th of the 7th, 2012. This is today's climate change update. I just wanted to let Gary know that I got my rag. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'll attach a link to his channel below. Let's get started. Earth changes. Scott.net. Canary Island wildfires continue to rage. Spanish authorities evacuated a town of 1,800 on the Canary Island on Tuesday after 3 days of firefighting efforts failed to prevent a raging wildfire from reaching it. Nuclear insanity. Japan refires second reactor at station sitting on tectonic fault line. And of course the protests are going on and on. This is KEPCO, K-E-P-C-O, not TEPCO, T-E-P-C-O. It's the Oi nuclear power plant, and again there's a fault line, an active fault line, but KEPCO can't seem to find the information, the seismic information on that area. Sinkhole opens up on I-70 near Idaho Springs, Colorado. And drought widens, unlikely to yield through October. They have a seasonal drought outlook map going up, and you can kind of see for yourself just how extreme the drought is in the United States right now. Central Australia's frostiest winter in a decade. Months of Central Australia is experiencing an unusually frosty winter. The frostiest in more than a decade in some parts, and there's much more to come. Of course, Australia has not been exempt from the crazy weather patterns going on around the world. Two rare white sparrows appear in Moray Garden. This is in Great Britain. A woman who photographed a rare white fledgling sparrow in her garden last week was left stunned when the second white bird turned up. Now, scientists did studies of the bird and wildlife outside of Chernobyl after the Chernobyl accident more than 25 years ago, and the cases of albinoism runs rapid in radioactive areas. So this very rare, uncommon thing might become more common as the years go by. BP oil spill partially, ? To blame for high dolphin deaths in Gulf of Mexico. Of course, they're not going to fess up, but after you dump millions and millions and millions and millions of barrels of Corexit into the Gulf of Mexico to cover up the hundreds of millions of barrels of oil that leaked out into the Gulf of Mexico, and a nice big sludge sits on the bottom. Enjoy your seafood. I wouldn't eat any seafood right now. Iceland not cold enough. 14 killer whales seen off of northern Scotland. More than a dozen killer whales made a rare appearance off the most northerly point in mainland Britain on Monday morning. Visitors to the John O'Groats coast were spellbound as 14 killer whales splashed and played in the harbor. They're saying they're following the seals, and it's probably a combination or 2 or 3 pods they got together to throw a little party. Over to the watchers. Volcano alert raised for Mount Tongariro volcano in New Zealand. GeoNet raised the volcano alert after a series of quakes beneath the volcanic complex. The alert is now on aviation color code yellow and volcanic alert code 1. Small volcanic earthquakes have been recorded beneath the mountain, and the sequence started on July 13th, but soon declined, restarting on July 18th and increasing in numbers on July 19th and 20th. So the volcano's gearing up, and they're getting ready for it to erupt. Strong swarm of earthquakes continue in the Kuril Islands. I believe they just had another 6.0. And of course, Sahara dust cloud heading towards South Florida, United States. While thunderstorms pound South Florida, a very concentrated area of Saharan dust is coming all the way from Africa. The northern Caribbean islands have already been dealing with the Sahara dust with hazy skies. The dust should arrive sometime today and last until next Monday. and the dust has been carried over 10,000 kilometers. It's following the same systems the hurricanes do off the coast of Africa. Over to the nuclear stuff. Let's start on ENA News. Expert on BBC like setting off a nuclear bomb in Eastern Europe? Fire fears for dying radioactive tree plantations around Chernobyl. And again, over 25 years later, we are still dealing with Chernobyl. Of course, if the forests catch on fire and the ash gets up in the air and all that radioactivity gets redistributed. And again, it accumulates. It all accumulates. Unusual move. Japan's ex-prime minister joins biggest ever crowds at weekly Tokyo protest. Fresh sign ruling party is fracturing. I still wouldn't trust the politician. Fukushima meltdown seen by many in Japan as nation's great debacle. Worse than atomic bombings. That is an understatement. Tokyo area officials blast government decontamination. Quote, an empty promise. Little progress made in cleaning up radioactive soil. And you got to remember, they just found in the suburbs of Tokyo like some mushrooms growing in a school that has already been decontaminated. And the kids are still going to school in the area, pass by this spot all the time, and they're not looking to clean it up anytime soon. French physicist, Fukushima spent fuel pools miraculously survived. Unit number 4, a constant source of worry. Now, they're worried about the plugs in the bottom of this pool and how the salt water might be corroding the metal in these plugs, and if they go, there'll probably be no way they will be able to keep the water continuing in spent fuel pool number 4. I've seen reports in the past where it is literally cracked and they're pumping water from the basement back up into the top of the pool just to keep the water levels normal. Removed fuel assemblies 100 times more radioactive than normal. TEPCO worker thinks it's from before 3/11. And again, they pulled a couple of these fuel rod assemblies, the ones that haven't been used yet, so it's okay for them. They're not going to react in the air like the spent fuel rods do, and they're testing to see what the salt water is doing to them, and what they're going to have to deal with in the future, because they had to deal with that quick fix of dumping salt water onto these reactors. Head of TEPCO, quote, shocked people are concerned about number 4 fuel pool. He's baffled by criticism of company's role in Fukushima disaster. Are these guys that delusional? He's believing his own bullshit. New York Times, radioactive cloud would be trapped over Los Angeles and San Diego in case of Fukushima-style meltdown at California nuke plants. Nuclear energy is a crime against humanity, and they need to shut them all down and arrest these criminals. TEPCO completes covering seafloor with layers of cement mix. More coating used at reactors number 5 and 6 than for reactors number 1, 2, 3, and 4 combined. They're filling that whole seafloor in front of these reactors, talking about bury it over. And it's just a little curious that they're using more concrete in number 5 and 6 than they are in 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we already know 1, 2, and 3 already melted through. So what's really going on in Fukushima Daiichi? I think the problem's a lot worse than they will ever tell us. Lead scientists surprised by data. Fukushima plant still leaking radiation into the ocean? Are you kidding me? Where are these? Insanity. And of course it goes on and on. And I even saw a report, they've got it probably down on the next page, where they opened up a beach in Fukushima Prefecture, just 40 kilometers south of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. They got pictures of kids playing in the water. Volleyball and hulas. Oh my God. The insanity. How could you take your kids down there? And over to Fukushima Diary. I'm going to go do their daily news. They've got a bunch of stories on the ongoing protests going on all over Japan, because it's Friday over there, of course. And rain or shine, they are protesting. And the crowds grow and grow in numbers. So they've got a bunch of stories. Like an Anonybus is driving around the official residence to help protesters move around. The organizer and sponsors are not known. So they've got buses helping the protesters get around. The police are using their tactics, of course. They've even got a story where a group of lawyers are going to set out to make sure that there's no unfound foolishness by the authorities when dealing with peaceful protesters. Over to EXSKF. Again, it's a protest story. It's Friday and the protest is on, rain or shine. And they've got the list of what's going on and where, but basically they ask, please refrain from making a speech that will advertise a particular organization or has nothing to do with anti-nuclear or beyond nuclear subjects. And they're saying they're giving everybody a minute to speak out if they want to speak out. But as was posted before, one such speech that didn't fit in with the organizer's intention was a speech about radiation exposure for the young policemen who were sent to high radiation areas in Fukushima Prefecture with little or no protection. And so even the protesters don't want to warn the police that they themselves are in danger from this nuclear fallout. Insane. And of course they've got a few more stories going on. That's about all I'm going to cover with you tonight. I'm sorry my videos have been few and far in between lately. I've got a lot of personal things going on. Family, friends, pulling favors. I've become busy. And I will definitely try to get to these as I can. I'm going to put out another video today. I got the fire smoked up, and I'll just kind of do a little vlog there. So enjoy while you can, everybody. And oh yeah, Nuked Radio, Rad Chick. I'm going to attach a link to her radio broadcast. I understand it's like 50 minutes long, and it's a long time, but there's a lot of information. This girl is on the ball. I love and respect you. Thanks, Christine and Jules, and Miss Milky the Clown, and Mary Greeley, and you know, Kevin Blanche. There's a bunch of us out there trying to do this. If you are making videos on the Fukushima incident, or as far as climate change or that kind of thing, please attach them to mine so I can kind of know you're out there. It's hard for me to look around sometimes, and if you're out there putting out videos, I'd like to know. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy what you can.